Hello again, this is David from Winning Solutions, and I'm here to give a brief video on the different types of template downloads that we have here, because that's a question we often get, and I'm going to address that here. So I just happen to be on the page for the calendar scheduling database. It's one of our more popular templates, and so that's just the one I'm using for this demonstration. But what I'm about to show you really holds for almost all of our templates except for some special cases. So again, we have videos that go over this database, so I'm not going to go through the demo now. Obviously we have examples of reports, but what I want to do is talk about the demos first. Now, the demos are good for getting a quick look at how our databases run. They run the same as the full application runs. There are a few exceptions. You cannot save data in the demo version. So if you make data entries, as soon as you exit the application, those entries are going to be erased. You also are unable to look at any designs. You're unable to open, for those of you who program in Access, this will probably make sense. You won't be able to go into the design of a form. You won't be able to go into the table itself, or at least not the design of the table. So those are the obvious restrictions to the free demos. Other than that, they are unlimited in time. They just have those restrictions that you can't really do much with them other than as is. Now, the paid versions are anything but, because one thing with the paid versions, and it doesn't matter which paid version you get everything. You get the tables themselves, you get the forms, you get the design, you get the code, and that is yours. And that's why, some of these look like they're kind of high prices, but when you really look at it, think about what you're getting. You're getting a full database solution, completely programmed. You get all the source code, you get all of everything. Now the differences are explained. There are 4 different prices for this particular template, which is the case for most of them. Some have slight exceptions. This lowest price here, the $150, for your internal use. So means that you could basically do everything except sell it to other people. So you can customize it any way you want. You don't like this form color, you want to put in a different table, have this table say that other thing. All of that, all of that is customizable. All of our templates are meant to be customizable. They're also fairly generic, and that, again, is by design because they're templates. They're, in most cases, not designed to be used as full-fledged apps, although they could be. Maybe it just, the database meets your needs as is, and you don't need to do anything else with it, but you could. And so any purchase gives you access to that, to those functionalities and features. The difference between the internal use and the unlimited developer use is now with the developer use, you can not only customize it any way you want, but you can resell it. If you buy the, let's say, the inventory management template, you can make it into something else. You can make it into something bigger. You can reprogram it to make not just inventories, but handle all sorts of purchase orders, do all sorts of fancy reports, and all that type of stuff. And then when you're done, you can actually resell it. It's a resell license. Again, that's why the prices for these are a little bit higher, because you're getting a lot. It's not like, when you buy a lot of software, whether it's shareware, freeware, you buy it on the internet, or, I don't know, they still sell them on CDs, I guess they do. When you buy commercial, what we call shrink-wrapped software, you're basically buying it as is. There are some exceptions in what we call open source software, but that's, for most things you're going to use in your business, that's not the case. You buy QuickBooks, you're getting QuickBooks. Now, I'm sure with many of these that there are add-ons and stuff, but you can't change details. You can't say, well, I would like this to be calculated a little bit differently, or I want this form to do this other thing, or change the color of this button, or reformat the report so it does this. I mean, some of those applications will allow you to customization, but it's within their parameters. It's only certain things that you can customize, and if there's a feature you want, or a feature that you don't, where there might be a bug or whatever, or something. Well, if that happens with shrink-wrapped software, well, basically, you can go to their forum, hope that someone answers, or you can just, submit a note and maybe they'll get around to it in the next edition. With our templates, you get complete customization, and if you work with one of our developers, you have direct access to that developer. So there's no, waiting for a new version. You suddenly find, I want to make this little bit of change. You can make it yourself. You can hire someone to make that change. You can hire us to make the change. It's completely flexible. So you're getting a lot for your money in this case. I know it seems like a lot, but you really are getting a lot. Now, this case, is another set of purchase prices, and this is for the same. These bottom two are analogous to the top two, internal versus unlimited use. The difference is, in this case, the second set of apps has an SQL Server backend, and we have videos on our YouTube channel talking about SQL Server and what a front end and back end is. But basically, the idea is with these additions up here, the data tables are part of the database file. They're not split out in any way. The database and the forms and the app are all together in one file within Access. What you're going to have here in this version here is it's going to use SQL Server, which is it's a server-based way of holding your back-end tables separate from the application. And so that involves slightly more sophisticated programming, and so that's why it does cost a little bit more, and it's also a little bit more work to maintain it and to customize it. So, of course, if you hire us to customize it, it's only per hour, so we're not going to charge more for customizing the SQL version than for the regular version, or an inventory app versus just a calendar app. Obviously some are going to take longer, and those would have more prices. But the only difference in upfront price is really what's going to be the initial state of the application, and whether or not you want to resell or not. Those are the big differences. Once you order, you're going to get an email with a download link, and again, the nice thing about this, you can customize it to any way you want. If you know how to program or develop an Access. If you don't, you can hire someone else to do it. You can hire us to do it. Basically, it's completely up to you. The bottom line is you're getting a completely built and customizable solution, not just some shrink-wrapped software where, if you don't like it out of the box, then, oh well, So it's a lot more flexible than that. Well, I also want to talk about the different downloads. I mentioned the demo downloads, and this is going to be the difference between all of these downloads in the demos. Now, Access 2007, it's an older version. We generally don't use that much anymore, but we certainly could develop in an Access 2007. I find most clients have at least Access 2010 by this point. There's very few people. If you have Office 365, you're going to have the latest version too. The big thing is 32-bit versus 64-bit. And Access is a little bit different than a lot of apps. If you download if you have a 64-bit operating system and you download a 64-bit version of most applications, I mean, you could run a 32 or a 64-bit version of that application if you have 64-bit Windows, 64-bit operating system. And that's still the case with Access. However, 32-bit applications are programmed slightly differently than 64-bit applications. If you try to run one of these, and it's not explicitly stated, but this would be 32-bit. It's 32-bit unless stated otherwise. If you downloaded a 32-bit and you have 64-bit access, again, I'm not talking about the version of the app, but the version of access. So you can run, if you have a 64-bit Windows, you can run 32-bit or 64-bit access. If you have the 64-bit access, then an application written using 32-bit access may not run completely well. It'll basically run, but may require some modifications. So that's something you should be aware of too. So make sure that whatever you download matches the version of Access that you have installed, which may not be the version of Windows. You may have 64-bit Windows, but have 32-bit Microsoft Office. That's what a lot of us have here. That's what 32-bit is what we generally recommend, specifically when it comes to Access, but that's different than whether your operating system is 32 or 64-bit. Those are two different things. Okay, so hopefully this quick video answers any questions you have regarding our database templates and alleviates any confusion that you might have looking at our page. Again, feel free to contact us at any time if you have any questions. Again, you can download any of the demo versions at any time for free. They have limited functionality, but they are unlimited in time and use. You just really can't customize or save data. But again, we have a template. If you look at our templates library, and this is basically, if you go to MicrosoftAccessExpert.com and then click on templates, you can see our entire list of templates. It is enormous. You can almost certainly find something here that will meet your needs. And if not, we can make one, or you can probably, almost any one of these can be refitted for any need you might have. Okay, so thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful, and please remember to like, subscribe to our channel, and enjoy the rest of your day.